Hello, my loves. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about how I meditate and how I actually got myself to a point where I was able to shut off and close off the outside world, or I should say, the thoughts that were going on in my head that was basically blocking me from having a successful meditation session, which it took me a while. I actually did a lot of research because when I first started out on my journey, or my awakening, whatever people want to call it, I used to look up all kind of videos about how to meditate and the best ways to meditate, and then I had all the binaural beats and things like that from YouTube. So I just had to basically find what worked for me. And so I came up and developed my own process, and here it is. So the first thing I do is I gather any tools I want to utilize, which is my crystals and stones, or if I want to listen to some music, and then I choose the place that I want to meditate. If I want to meditate outdoors, it's really according to the vibes that I'm feeling, or I want to meditate indoors. So once I determine those things, then I find a comfortable place to comfortable position to sit. So you want to make sure that you're sitting comfortably, and that if you were sitting for 45 minutes to an hour, you would still be comfortable, that your legs wouldn't be hurting, your feet, like something wouldn't go numb basically. And that position can either be with your legs crossed, Indian style, or you can sit with your legs apart and then your hands touching your legs or your knees. Whatever works for you, but you definitely want to be sitting in a position where your posture is good, because you're breathing in and out, so you want the air to be able to flow properly. After you have your comfortable sitting position, then you want to start actually, before you start breathing, if you're going to utilize crystals and stones, even if you're not going to utilize any crystals and stones, like if you're not going to say, hey, I'm going to use this crystal or stone right here, you want to state your intentions over this. So you want to say, well, the first thing I do is I say that I give thanks, because being grateful and giving thanks for everything you have, because a lot of times the way we've been conditioned or trained, at least I know in America, however across the world, but definitely in America, is to complain about everything. Really complain about everything in life. Complain about, oh, I gotta get up and go to work. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do that. And truly, you ain't gotta do nothing you don't want to do, to be honest. However, if you choose to do it, it's reprogramming and reconditioning yourself to not have that thought process and thought pattern. So when you pick it up, or even if you're not utilizing a crystal or stone, you state your intentions, that you give thanks. Already give thanks to the universe for a powerful meditation session, for a meditation session that's going to open up a different level of your growth process, or give thanks for the crystal or stone that you're utilizing, for it to raise your vibration level and elevate you to a new level. Whatever it may be, whatever your affirmation or whatever your intention that you state, you're putting it out in the universe. So like I said, even if you're not utilizing a stone, you're still stating an intention that's going out, because we already know that whatever we say, we will have it, because we are magicians of our own over our own lives. So whatever we're speaking and putting out there is what we're getting back, is what's coming back to us. It's like a boomerang. Okay? So after you state your intentions, then you want to start your breathing. So you're doing your breathing in and out. You're breathing in through your nose. You can either breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose, or you can breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Either one of those. Okay? What I do when I'm breathing, you can leave your eyes open for a little while if you want to, just find a focal point. Like you can focus on the sun, because sometimes, like if I go outside and I'm meditating, I'll do the meditation and the sun gazing. So I can start out by doing my breathing, and I'm sun gazing at the same time. That way, I am getting myself to focus, because when I'm sun gazing, I am totally focused. I am very in tune with the sun, and just feeling the rays and the warmth and taking all that in. So you can try that as well if you have started sun gazing. If you have not started sun gazing, then this is a good time to do so. So just that's what I was saying basically. Excuse me. You're breathing in and out, and you're staring at your focal point, whatever it may be. And then once you can feel like you are in tune with your breaths, and you are listening basically to your breaths. And a lot of times when I'm doing that, I can feel my heart. My heart has a rhythm, and so my breaths and my heart tend to be in line with one another. So even though my heart is beating faster, like the beats are faster, the breaths are still, like, it feels like it's like it's some instruments playing basically, and they're like working together to create this beautiful harmony or melody, whatever, and then after you get your breaths together, you want to start listening to everything that's around you. This is where I messed up at the beginning. I tried to tune out everything, like all the noise. I tried to tune out cars driving by, tune out people talking, tune out anything in the background. Make the background noise your soundtrack. So you already got your breathing and your heart that's a part of that soundtrack. Now you want to add in these other instruments. You want to add in or it could be a chorus. We want to add in these other singers, and we're all starting to come together, and we're making a really beautiful harmony. We're harmonizing. So that could be children playing, that could be cars driving by, that could be sirens, that could be the birds chirping, it could be your air conditioning in the background, it could be a fan. Whatever it is, it's now your soundtrack for your meditation session. So even if you turn on the binaural beats and you have that playing, you still have that added onto it. So it's all working together, and you're synchronizing all of that so that it can help you get into your higher state, so that you can basically let the right brain take over. Okay. And a lot of people say that, which I had the same thing, shutting off that left brain, shutting off those thoughts that keep going through your head. A lot of times they're negative thoughts. A lot of times you're thinking, oh my goodness, because you're already thinking it's going to be difficult. And so your ego is basically trying to block you from, getting to that state, just to be honest. And so you're basically having to shrink that ego down and calm that ego down, so that you're able to allow your right brain to take over this process, because meditation is your right brain getting into a higher state of consciousness in order to connect to your higher self, because that's literally what you're doing. You're plugging in and connecting to your higher self. And your ego doesn't really want you to do that, because the ego wants time for itself. The ego wants, like, I'm here still, I want this time, I don't want to share my time. You know what I'm saying? So you have to basically, instead of trying to, or I should say instead of getting irritated that you're having all these thoughts and like, oh my gosh, I got to stop these thoughts. When a thought crosses your head, you can just, as you're still doing the breathing, as you're still listening to your soundtrack, you can start to figure out exactly why you're having that thought. Like, why the hell did this pop into my head? And then you take that thought, if it could be something negative about yourself or negative about another person or whatever, you take that thought and you transmute it. Basically, you transform it into something that you actually like, something that makes you happy. So if you're thinking about the fact that you're trying to meditate, or you're attempting to meditate before you go to work and you don't want to go to work, then what you can do is you can transform that thought into a happy place, a place that you love. So if you love going to the beach, you transform that thought into you being at the beach. So at this point, your eyes should be closed, and you start envisioning the beach, and you have all these sounds going on around you. You have the wind blowing through the trees, and so the leaves are rustling. You have the cars driving by and everything zooming by you. However, you are thinking about, you are sitting on the beach, and you are in the perfect it's the perfect temperature. You're in the perfect location, and everything is beautiful around you. So you start thinking about that. And once you start visualizing yourself in a more happier state, those thoughts are going to start to go away, and they're going to start to shrink. That voice is going to get lower and lower and lower, which is your ego. All right. So like I said, you're envisioning these things. So now you're like, basically you are making all those things work together. Your breathing, your visualizations, and your soundtrack of everything that's going on around you. And once you get to the point and state when all that's going on, then at that point the ego is not even a factor. Your mind is in a state of calm, so that you're able to connect and hear your higher self, and your heart and everything is just totally in harmony. And at that point, I start saying affirmations in my head. So I am either saying my abundance affirmations, or I am stating how I am one with, because a lot of times we all like to talk about the abundance and do those. Believe me, I do the abundance all the time. However, you also still want to do your meditations for oneness, which is basically I'm telling myself in my affirmations that I am one with the trees. I am one with the cats that I'm around. I am one with the birds. I am one with, and when you start, because you can, even when you're in your thoughts and you're attempting to get yourself to connect or clear your thoughts out, that's a thought you can also start to have. You're at one with everything that you're hearing around you that you think is a distraction, is because you have a lot of distraction going on in the internal. So as above, so below. And that means that you need to go ahead and calm and work with some things internally in order to get yourself to a point and a place in your meditation sessions that you're able to connect to your higher self. Because literally it is definitely what people like to call your lower self, or your ego, saying, no, look at me, watch me, you know what I'm saying? And in order to truly get to that point, you have to you just have to visualize yourself. Like, even if you visualize yourself like closing your eyes and visualizing you're looking at yourself from across the room, and like I said, everything is one with you. So you're basically having almost like an out-of-body experience when you're meditating. You're still in this body, however your spiritual self, your spirit, is connecting to the spirit realm, which is the non-physical, tangible, that you can basically connect with the five senses, the five physical senses. So I hope I hate the word hope, I have faith that this has touched the people that it needs to touch, and that it will aid you in your meditation. Actually, let me just go over them real quick, really fast. So the first thing was gather your tools that you want for meditation. Second thing is find a relaxing space that you are going to meditate. Then sit in a comfortable position. Then you want to state your intentions. What is your intention? What do you want to get out of this meditation session? So you want to go ahead and give thanks for that intention. So be thankful. In all things, give thanks. Then you want to start your breathing in and out, listening to those breaths, listening to your breath going in, listening to your breath coming out. Then you want to take in all the sounds around you. Everything that you hear becomes your soundtrack. Okay. At that point, you can go ahead and play your binaural beats and stuff as well. Either, I would say step 4, because in step 3, you're really working on your breathing. Even if you want to play it in step 3, your binaural beats, you can. It's just whenever you feel like it, whatever works for you. Okay. Step 5 or step 6, I think. If you have a thought crossing your mind, you want to kind of identify why you're having that thought and then let that thought go. Transmute that thought into something that makes you happy. Then step 7, you want to envision yourself in a place that makes you happy, and you want to combine your visualization with your soundtrack. Okay. And then the last step, you want to start your positive affirmations, or your power affirmations, basically stating and claiming your power in things, because you're knowing. Affirmations are important because it comes from a place of knowing. You are stating the power in who you are, and the power in your thought, and the power in your very being, because you are God, you are a creator. So your meditation sessions are for you to create your world and create the world that you say that you want to have. So as soon as you're able to calm those things down, those thoughts, what's the best way to put it? As soon as you're able to get to a point where you're able to, this works more like clockwork, because again, the more you do something, repetition is everything. That's why we are in the state that we are in now, because we have been repeating, and the brainwashing, it's been going on for so long that it becomes a part of your daily process without you even thinking about it. It is literally you doing things unconsciously, and you have no idea that you're doing them until somebody says. It's like how you may chew a certain way, however you don't notice you chew that way because you've been chewing that way forever. However, you go on a date with somebody, or you start dating someone, and they tell you, do you know you make a certain noise when you chew, and you're like, nah, why would you know? It's an unconscious habit. You literally do it without thinking about it. No thought. So it's just like how, without even us thinking about it, it doesn't mean our cells aren't doing what they're supposed to do inside of our body. Because if they weren't, then the body would not even be functioning. Okay? Blinking. Unless we really think about it, our body blinks when it needs to. Or our eyes blink when they need to. So it is those types of things that we don't always think about. However, that should also help you in not being so hard on yourself. That's another reason it's difficult for people to meditate, because you're being too hard on yourself. If you're just starting out, it is something new, and when you start a new job, you have to train for it. Think of it as your training ground. So you can take some of these take this as your base in order to begin. However, you may find some different things you add in it, find some things you take out of it that work best for you. However, this is just my way of doing it, and it's something I had to come up with because the things that I was finding, it wasn't working for me. So I had to find something that worked for me, and that's really what this process is about. Everybody has to everyone has to listen to your inner self, and it'll guide you in the best way to do any and everything in life. So that's all I want to say about the meditation, how to meditate, or how I meditate, I should say, not how I meditate to get to higher, or to connect to my higher self. So sorry guys, I got a little distracted because one of the cats is coming in and out, and it's actually about time for the one that's been out all day to come in. So I'm about to go round him up. But you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for supporting, listening to, and give thanks for it benefiting your lives and benefiting my life just to share with you. Have a great day, guys.